Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Unspoken Matters. I'm your host, Craig Irving.
And I'm Genetta Cleveland.
And Genetta is hey, you know what? You're officially being anointed today, my official co-host.
Okay.
Mainly because you were there when Unspoken Matters was first born.
Yes.
When I first gave birth to Unspoken Matters, the audio podcast. And we did an episode called Learning to Love Me.
Learning to Love Me.
Well, today we are back. And the thing I love about doing these podcast episodes is that individuals really get a chance to eavesdrop on some of the conversations I have with my really good friends and acquaintances and associates. We have a lot of really good conversations. And today we're going to talk about what's holding you back. What's holding you back? What's holding you back at home? What's holding you back in your job? What's holding you back with your family? And this conversation started up because Genetta and I were both uprooted recently.
Kicked out of our comfort zone.
And so now we're trying to figure out what was holding us back.
Exactly. I know I was holding myself back for fear, but also because I just got comfortable and complacent. There was no other way.
And I think that happens to most of us. I think what ends up happening, especially if you've been in a job or you've lived in a certain location, if you've been somewhere for a certain period of time, that begins to be your comfort zone. You're familiar with it, and anything that shakes and takes you out of that comfort zone, it brings about fear. Because when the change came for me, I thought to myself, what am I afraid of? What am I afraid of? I'm over 50 years of age. I'm very adventurous. I love to try different things. So what is it that I'm afraid of? And what it was just moving me out of a position and a territory and things that I was familiar and comfortable with.
I know when I got the call, I literally sat down and I'm like, are you getting ready to tell me I'm moving to Dallas, Texas? Is this really about to happen?
We're in undisclosed location. You're not supposed to tell them where we're at. We're in the witness protection program.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Well, y'all forget about that. Okay.
Well, when I think about what's the question that we pondered and the question that we've talked about probably for a while now is that what's holding me back? You think about what's holding you back from personal success.
Yeah.
Because I think where we want to be at the end of the day, whether it's when we get ready to stop working or with our family, with our friends, we want to be in our best position in life. And that's personal success. Hey, how do you define what does personal success look like for you?
So personal success for me is how you impact other people's lives. And you had, in an earlier conversation, you talked about sacrifice. Yeah. And that is where it is. Because you can have a whole bunch of money and not be successful. You can have a slew of friends, but how do you really treat your friends? Are they just there just because of who you are or because of really who you are genuinely? So that's what I see success.
But has that changed over the years? Because I can remember the mindset that I had when I was in my 20s and the things I aspired to be. And I look at where I am now, that looks different because a lot of time when you think about personal success or when you say personal success, or even when you say purpose, what's my purpose in life? A lot of people tie that to
living in your
money, jobs, titles, positions.
But it's actually living in your purpose is when you're successful.
Right. And that may not have anything to do with what you do. And that was a big lesson for me to learn is that, you know what, my purpose may not have anything to do with what I do to make a living, to pay the bills, to pay the mortgage.
Yes, absolutely. And I've never done anything. No, I've never positioned myself to have a lot of money or earn a lot of money because that was never my goal. It was about how I interacted and treated people.
Are there times that I talk about a lot where I am, how I think where I am today wasn't where I am today? Because I always tell you, I can remember every interview that I think I've gone on. I've always, especially later on in life, I've always said that I've never taken a job just because of the money. I've never taken a job just because of the position. Or the title, I'm sorry. I've always taken a job because of the impact that I can have. And does it pour into and does it feed into what I think my purpose is? How has your mindset changed from when you first got out and entered into the workforce, or just and start living life to where you are now? Because it does shift over
It
the
does
years.
shift. Before, when I first got into the workforce, it was about just making a paycheck, getting financially stable, making sure I could pay my bills. But then as I got older, I realized your interactions and how you treat people and how you talk to people makes a huge difference. And that will also affect how successful you are and how you move forward in life. So that has always been my goal. I know a lot of people push me, oh, you could be doing this or you could be doing that. But I was like, that's never my goal. Never my goal.
And I think when you talk about what's holding you back, I think you
Mm-hmm.
mentioned then or
Yeah.
during one
Mine
of the
was
times I was
fear.
conversating,
It
fear. Yeah,
was totally
I was
fear.
just getting ready to say
It was just
fear.
fear.
And that has changed for me over the years.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember in my 20s
Yeah.
and in my 30s, there were so many things that frightened me just as an individual, just growing into myself. Then you get to a stage in life where you
Mm-hmm.
think, I don't really care what anybody think about
Yeah.
me or say about me.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I want to do. And this is what I feel
Well,
that I'm here. My purpose. This is what I feel my
yes.
purpose is. How do you overcome fear? For me, I don't know if I overcame fear. I just got older and start thinking I don't care any longer.
I no longer care what people think or what they say, but I don't think I've ever gotten over that fear of stepping out and doing things that can hinder my financial stability. Because as a single person, you don't have anyone to fall back, another paycheck to fall back. It's you. So you're not going to do anything crazy to affect that paycheck.
Do you feel like you're exactly where you want to be in life?
Actually, no, but I do know I am where I'm supposed to be.
Mm.
That makes a big difference. I would love to, technically, right now, I would love to be retired and living overseas, but that's not where I'm supposed to be. This is right now is where I'm supposed to.
You know, and that for me, that changes so much because there have been times
Yeah.
where I
Yeah.
thought like I'm exactly where I should be. I'm exactly where I want to
Mm-hmm.
be. And then all of a sudden something comes and shakes your
Shakes it up.
foundation and you
Shakes it
start
up.
thinking, maybe I'm
Mm-hmm.
not where I'm supposed to be. I'm
Yeah.
supposed to be. And maybe I'm not walking in my purpose. Yeah.
I knew I wasn't walking in my purpose because I loved my job. I loved where I was. And there was nothing that was going to make me want to move. But something did happen. And I said, I got to get the heck up out of here. And 2 years later, I was like, I didn't know where I was going. I said I was planning on retiring, leaving the airlines, going to do something else, but not.
When you think about what's holding you back, how do you deal with, because a lot of times this can derail us. How do
Mm-hmm.
you deal with setbacks?
It's hard. Before, I was traveling. I didn't mind moving with my company. And I had a major setback. So then once I moved to my last state, I was there for 22 years because of that setback put major fear in me. And I was like, I'm not doing anything extra because it was just like, when you have a tumultuous childhood, you just want an easy life. When you've given up your childhood, you just want an easy life. So that was that was the cause of why I held myself, because I could be doing way more.
Right.
And also, not to make a long story short, until I left, I didn't realize the impact that I was making at DCA. I was just living life, doing my job, helping people. But when I left, to hear the stories that I totally forgot, people coming to me, telling me how I helped them, and people literally in tears crying.
No.
So that was a shocker for me because I had just learned to treat people the way I wanted to be treated.
But and also for me, it's funny you say that because sometimes that can be what's holding you back.
Yes,
And I'll speak for
absolutely.
myself because sometimes
Absolutely.
we tell ourselves these stories like, oh no, I don't need to go anywhere because they need me.
Oh, yes.
I need to,
Yes.
this is where I can make the
Yes.
biggest impact.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes that can be simply because
You're
you're
complacent and didn't
exactly,
want to go anywhere. So
absolutely,
you're making excuses,
absolutely.
making excuses.
Yeah.
And I was in that boat because I kept saying, I'm going to do this. And it was dragging my feet. And no, it's not time for me to leave. No, this, no, that. And then I got a phone call saying, you're going.
Mm.
And I was like, oh, okay.
What's missing here? This is
I
an
got it.
interesting question. What's missing in your life right now?
Honestly, the only thing, and I just, excuse me, just need a little water. The only thing that I have not successfully received or achieved in my life that I've always wanted was to get married.
Why?
From the age of 13, I never wanted kids, but I've always wanted that companion, that husband to live life with and grow old with. That is the only thing in this life that I haven't been able to achieve. I wanted to achieve.
And that do you ask yourself, what's holding me back from that? Do you ever ask yourself that?
I don't have the patience for foolishness. I've tried it and I said, okay, before I catch a case, I better sit back and be still. Because folks, it's crazy out there. Them streets, it's crazy out there. So
Right.
no, yeah. It's a different world now. It's a different world.
That's an interesting question to ponder because I don't know if I truly know what's missing in my life right now. It changes
Yes.
because I always want to continue to grow. I always want to continue to grow. I don't ever want to get to a place where I feel like, because I think that's when you die. I want to grow. I'm complete. Everything is happy. I have nothing, no more work to do. I think that's when life ends.
Yes.
So I'm continuously finding ways to or trying to think of what I want to say to grow, because I think those.
You're forever growing.
Yeah.
Even if you're 9 years old, I will hope that you will still learn something to grow.
And grow towards my purpose, because that's, I talk about that so much now, because I think as you get older in life, that becomes what's important. And a lot of times people define themselves. I used to talk about with some friends, we used to talk about this one question, who are you?
Yes.
And when I always say that, and usually someone says, oh, my mother, or my daughter, who are you? Absent of all of that, absent of your child, absent of your husband, absent of your job, who are you? Because I think that's when you truly find out who you are as a person.
Yes.
And that comes in the form of sometimes you get fired from your job or laid off from your job. God forbid something happened to your spouse or your kids, they die. Because, that happened to me. I can remember when I lost my mom.
Right.
I found myself trying to search for
who you were.
Exactly. I found myself like, who really am I? Because I defined myself for so long by whoever's son. I'm Frankie's son.
You're a son.
A promo for Frankie's Kitchen, by the way, my nonprofit. But I define myself so much by that. And when that person is gone, and oftentimes we do that with our kids and with our spouse and with our job. Who are you?
I had that moment too. Not after my mom died, but after my dad died. And I was like, and I didn't know him. I didn't know him until I was like 32. But even though after he died, I was like, okay, who am I? I'm now an orphan. Even at 40 plus years. Once both of your parents die, you're considered orphan. There is no age limit. So I had to redefine myself as who I am. And that's when I really learned to, no matter what, you got to love yourself.
And do you think answering the question, who are you, helps you determine what's holding you back?
Yes, it does. It actually does, because once you learn who you are, to love yourself and not let other people define you or your narrative, that's when you know that nothing can. There is nothing. You have no fears of anything.
Are you living in your most certain time right now?
I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question.
Yeah,
That is a difficult. That is a difficult question.
because
What do you consider certain?
certain. Yeah, when I say certain, I think if you were talking to me like 20 years ago, there are so many things I would have been uncertain about. There are so many things, my position in my family, my position on my job, what I want to do on my job.
Yeah.
Am I making a difference in the world? Am I making a huge impact on anybody, anything? I'm really uncertain. I think I'm now more certain about certain things in my life than I have ever been.
Yeah. I'm more certain with my job, but I am extremely uncertain with my. So I've always wanted to be close with my family, but I don't have, you have to realize I'm single. I don't have a family of my own. So I'm an extended family member to everybody else. And when you realize that and how they interact with you as the extended family member. It's like, what am I trying for? I don't have my own kid. I don't have my own husband. I don't have my own grandkids. So you change your mindset. That's the only thing. For survival, you change your mindset and you keep it moving.
Has that ever held you back? Because we're talking about what's holding you back. Do you think that has ever held you back?
It has, especially living where I was, because I didn't want to miss out on family events. But I had to realize after they all grow up and move on, it was like, okay, now I'm just here.
Right.
Now do I get to live my life? Or I should have been living my life a long time ago instead of waiting around to be a part of their life.
What makes Genetta happy?
Right now, what makes me happy, because every year changes. I love traveling. That makes me happy to go to other countries, see their culture, not just during the tourist stuff, but to actually go to the cultural side. It could be a little dangerous, but if you're with a group of people and really get connected with somebody there, a local, and that can protect you as you go into those local areas and get the local food, I love that. And I love hanging out with my goddaughter, Charlie. She has become my home.
Oh, nice. I know Charlie.
You know, she's a little bad right now, but I'm working on it. I think that's why I'm here, to get her back in check.
What makes me happy now, I think, and I was thinking about this the other night, not allowing people and things to impact my happiness.
Yes.
You know, for so long, my happiness depended on other things, other outside forces. It didn't come from this within. Getting up in the morning, doing purposeful work, doing stuff that I like to do, but knowing that I got my health and strength, all those things are things that come within me. So not letting the outside forces
impact
my happiness, not letting a job impact my happiness.
Yes.
So those are things that it makes me happy now, just things that comes from within.
Yeah, and that's where it's supposed to come. But we don't learn that until we're late in life.
Yeah.
But just think, if we had learned that when we're in our 20s, where
I'm
would we
just
be now?
a few years outside of my 20s.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, one of the things that
I won't do the math.
One of the things that you were in season 1 of Unspoken Matters. One of the things that I closed out my episodes with is a book that I found. I can't even remember who gave me this book, but a book I've had for quite a while by Lance Wubbles. And it was called If Only I Knew. And what I normally would do is I read a quote from the book, one of my favorite quotes from the book. Then I toss the question over to you and I said, Genetta, if only I knew. So what I'm going to do today, that was one of the most popular spots on my first season on Unspoken Matters. So I decided to bring it back. Very insightful. So I'm going to read the quote from Lance Wubbles' book, If Only I Knew. Then I'm going to toss it over to you. And then you finish the sentence, if only I knew. If only I knew that it's never too late to rewrite one's life story, I would have pulled out my pen sooner. And that is so true for me.
Yes.
So I'm going to toss it over to you now, Genetta. Genetta, if only I knew. Finish the sentence for me.
If only I knew that the impact that I could make in other people's lives, the impact that I have made in other people's lives, just by being me, being the empathy and the compassion person that I am, I would be dangerous. I would be dangerous. Right? It was just, there would be no stopping me around this.
And you sound so certain about it. We just got through talking about what are you certain about. You're certain about that.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. You know what? Since I've anointed you my co-host, so will you come back and co-host me again? We got a lot of conversations that we've talked about.
You keep pushing me out of my comfort zone, so I won't have a choice.
Hey, I love it. I love it. I love it. Hey, and thank you all for tuning in again to another episode of Unspoken Matters. And please come back for the next episode, and we'll see you then.
See you then. Bye.